And welcome into this special edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. We're brought to you by Ballybet, the Ballybet Sports Bet. Please bet responsibly. Day 15 of training camp, a friends and family day coming on the heels of our first preseason game this past Saturday in Chicago against the Bears. I am Merely Bo. It's a great seat.
Hello. Good to be with you. The sun is coming out. It's a little muggy and humid here at the Cross Country Mortgage campus, and the Browns get back to work for what I think will be an incredibly important week with the Bills coming to town and that joint practice in just 3 days' time after we had the preseason opener in the Windy City over the weekend.
We have been talking about this Thursday practice against the Bills as really that's your day. Like on the quarterback front, that'll be your day that you pay a lot of attention to. What do those reps look like? What does it all look like? The second probably most anticipated day we were looking forward to was the preseason debut on Saturday in Chicago against the Bears. There were moments. Both quarterbacks had their moments. Both quarterbacks had their anti-moments. What did you make of what you saw Saturday firsthand in Chicago?
Well, the good news is the Browns, once we took our principal people out, we were ahead 10-0 in that game. I thought Deshaun Watson came in and operated the offense very effectively. I thought it was very clear, though, as the second-team offensive line got in there and they were unfortunately dominated at the point of attack, that then things weren't as good. At one point, he was 11 of 12, he being Deshaun Watson, and the only incomplete at that point was a drop by Harold Fannin on a very nice ball where he steps up, beats pressure on a third down, and that should have been a first down for the Browns. So early, it was very good. Was he pushing the football down the field? No, he was not. That's something that I still need to see from him. I need to see him rip it. But I thought the ball was out on time. It was in rhythm. I'd like to see him be a little calmer in the pocket at times. But overall, I thought a very strong and solid debut for Deshaun Watson, considering he had not played football in 660-plus days. So I thought that was good. Our offensive line, I thought, was better in pass protection than it was in run blocking. When you think about Quinshawn and Dylan Sampson, they combined 8 carries for 15 yards. And that was kind of all too familiar. Getting hit in the backfield, not enough room to run, not enough push. So we need to do a better job up front in terms of the run blocking, I thought, coming out of that game. As for Shedeur, when he was in there, obviously in a little bit of a tougher situation. He did not have the receivers out there that, Deshaun had. He didn't have Boston or Concepcion. I thought that obviously what we saw last year, his ability to produce chunk plays is absolutely there.
Yep.
I think his pocket presence and footwork is exponentially better than it was a year ago. Against the cover zero, he finds Floria. That was a great ball. But still some of the other things that you wonder why they happened. Last year he had the ball batted down at the line of scrimmage so often.
Yeah.
And that happened again. That happened twice. The center exchange, you have a fumble. That's not great. And then the interception, ball just slipped out of his hands. He made the right read. But those negatives we've got to eliminate. I still think that there's obviously a lot with Shedeur Sanders and his ability, as I said, to make the chunk plays. His best balls are typically down the field.
Yep.
And, kind of if you combined kind of his down the field with Deshaun's in rhythm underneath layups be layups, you'd be saying, oh, man, we've got our quarterback here. But right now they both have things to work on still. I think that, Deshaun probably had the better day, but he had the better supporting cast. It's not apples to apples in any way, shape, or form. Shedeur with the chunk plays, thought his first throw to Gage Larvidan was excellent. Hit the top of his drop off that play action and threw that out right on the money. I thought, again, he made some very nice throws. He had another one to Larvidan. There was a hole shot that got punched out, but it was perfectly thrown ball from Shedeur Sanders. So I liked that. I think the competition's still very much on. I know Todd was pleased with both of them, but I still think there's room for both of them. And I go back to that Thursday is going to be very important because Deshaun did get a couple series against their one defense, I think 2 of them, but it still wasn't a lot of ones-on-ones.
No.
And so this Thursday will be really kind of the only opportunity to look at that. Now, you can't get hit. It is a controlled environment, so that benefits the quarterbacks. But, the things that I really like, if you'd say my number one takeaway, it's still what I said before. We have a lot of skill position talent, and it's going to be fun. I need Harold Fannin he's got to make that catch on the third down. He kind of had a very quiet offseason because he was hurt for so much of it. We haven't really seen a practice where we're like, oh, man, Fannin looks ready to go dominate,
No, and he dropped one last week.
right
over here on the sideline that was would have gone for a big gainer that was right in the breadbasket, just dropped it. So, yeah, he's still kind of finding his sea legs a little bit this season, and that does need to hit the fast forward in a big, big way.
What did you think? You were watching at home. What did you think?
I thought Deshaun, as he has over the first 2.5 weeks, I thought he came out looking like someone who could operate the offense. My concern with him was much what my concern with him was the first week of camp, which was everything is a check, everything is get it out safe, nothing downfield, nothing to stress the defense. Now, I can't remember if it was the second or third series, he made a couple of nice throws, like planting the foot, driving
the one where after the tripping, he hits Judy on that post, and then on third down, he said it actually, I was talking to him after the game, he said it reminded me a lot of Houston. He goes, Denzel Boss reminds me a lot of my time in Houston and with Monken, because he goes, in that third down situation, we're going to go 3-by-1.
Yep.
We're going to make them dictate, one-on-one on the backside. He said that was in Houston. That was D-Hop. He goes, here it's going to be Denzel Boston, hits that stop, hits him right in stride on the curl so he can catch and picks up 15 yards. So, yeah, that sequence I thought was like his best sequence.
So that speaks to, and then Shedeur, again, very much like what we've seen from him. He loves throwing a deep ball.
Yep, and he's great at it.
He puts incredible – his timing on it is perfect. The way that he drops it in the bucket is perfect on so many instances, but you also see the procedural stuff. You saw the balls being batted down, and you saw it slipped out of your hand, whatever it did. I mean, him and the interception from Dillon, those are you just can't. I mean, those are
bad.
You're fair catching those if you're on the defensive side. You just can't have it. So, I thought kind of uneven. The thing though that I as you were going through it, and as I think back to what I saw. It goes back to why I really think Todd needs to do this as soon as he knows.
It's got to be Sunday.
It has to be.
It has to be Sunday.
Yeah, and I don't know. I know he had an availability earlier today, and he talked about how there probably won't be starters if everybody gets what they need to out of Thursday, and my hunch is they probably will, so there won't be. So then what is that data point for Shedeur if it's our twos, their twos, and all of that, which was similar to what Deshaun had and then what he had. So it's very difficult, and I think both of these guys, whichever one it is, you almost have to treat Deshaun Watson like a rookie too, because it's been so long since he's played.
Yep.
He needs to play. He needs 1,000 reps. He needs to be more and more comfortable. To me, it feels like his ceiling, like if you just don't know any of the backstory on either one of them, his ceiling is higher than Shedeur's in terms of what he can do down the field. His arm is more lively. He's faster with his feet, so forth and so on. One guy's 30, the other guy's 24. One guy's not under team control next year. The other guy's under team control for a long time. So there's a million factors to this thing, but just in terms of just no backstory, throw two guys on a field, I think you would probably say that Deshaun is the guy who jumps out more, and I think he showed a lot of that on Saturday. I'm sure he would want the turnover back. I'm sure that he, look, in retrospect.
That's not yes, it's a quarterback
still,
turnover, but it's not. He's beaten off the right side, and it's hit as he's throwing.
Yeah.
Knocked out of his hand.
Certainly, yes. But obviously you want to be clean and all of that stuff. And I assume when he watched the tape that there were plays to be made downfield that he didn't rip, and you'd have to say, well, how do you rip them? My answer to that is you get confident to rip them.
Yep.
And right now he's getting there. We had some practice last week that felt that way, but he's not all the way there. Conversely, the same with Shedeur. If Shedeur is going to stop doing – if he's going to – and he's made a lot of ground up on the procedural stuff in practice.
Oh, yeah.
Big time from what first week to what last week was, and he'll go with the ones today. But in order to be completely comfortable, then he needs them all.
Yep.
So we are getting to a point. I think we're the only ones still out there with a quarterback thing, aren't we?
Yep. And yes, it needs to be decided, and we need to get this. We need to get them all the reps. We need to get going. You're exactly right on it. I think that here's the other thing, folks. It's the Cleveland Browns. The likelihood that one quarterback plays the whole season feels very far-fetched. I mean, we haven't seen that since Baker.
Yeah.
And before that, we hadn't seen it at all.
Right.
So it's. I know it's a huge deal. Who's going to start week one? I don't think it means if Deshaun ends up being the starter, I don't think it means you will not see Shedeur this year and vice versa. So I'm not as hung up on it. I just want to go out there and win, because the big takeaway to me was these young receivers are exactly as advertised. Casey Concepcion, first punt return, gets tripped up by either a shoestring tackle or by the ground, but goes 31 yards. That would have been the second longest punt return of our entire season last year.
Right.
he has 3 catches for 27 yards. He has the one kind of jet sweep for 14 yards in the touchdown where he runs through a tackle at 10. I've been telling you all, I'm excited to see this guy when they have to tackle him. That's when I think that he's going to be at his best. And guess what? He gets into the end zone. Tough run. He looks as good as advertised. Boston, when they had him singled up, it was pitch and catch. It was easy. He looked very good. That was very encouraging to see. Isaiah Bond didn't get the ball every time he was open. Made a nice catch the one time it was thrown his way. But, one of the plays that everybody's harping on with Deshaun is where he's looking left, comes back right, should have been able to get that ball to Isaiah Bond. Now, one of the things I'm going to ask Todd when I get a chance to sit with him, because I'm very curious about it, is do our receivers have the ability on that play, for example? They busted the coverage. Now, he was running a deep curl, but if he just ran and did the Randy where he just, puts his arm up, does he have that freedom? Because that could have been a touchdown. Now, Deshaun was looking left first, comes back to the right, should have seen it because the safety was so discombobulated. He sprinted basically back to the end zone knowing he had messed up. So he hits Bond on that comebacker, and he should have. That's one that he should have. And then he missed one to Casey Concepcion where he stepped up and kind of dirted it after that.
Short-armed it, yeah.
But other than that, I thought, again, he operated it just fine. Our screen game is much better than it's been years in the past, and I know we had the 43-yarder to Dillon, but the one that we ended up being a nothing play should have been a touchdown. Our guys just missed the block, and it goes. Our O-line depth on the interior at the guard positions in particular is troubling at this juncture.
So that's the next impression I had. I'm more than a little concerned about the offensive front because when you get into the second quarter, it was a noisy pocket almost the whole time.
And we're talking about jailbreaks, like sprints immediately
No, that's what I mean.
Disrupting.
There was no way to operate anything.
No, quarterback or the ground game. Yeah, and I mean, you had Luke Whippler out there who had started some games, and Luke Whippler's been a good center. KT Leviston started 7 games for you tackle. He's playing guard, and I thought it was a bit of a rough outing for him. Austin Barber is the one who got beat right around the edge and gave up the sack. And then you kept Fano out there. Jack Conley, I thought, had a tough day at guard. Fano was good. Fano is going to be just fine. I think Spencer Fano is going to be just fine. That's encouraging. I think if you're a Cleveland Browns fan, that your first pick in his first start put a lot of good tape out there. Was it perfect? No, but he put a lot of good tape out there. So that's concerning to me. And then on defense, it's what we've been talking about. I mean, there is absolutely no experience depth at linebacker, cornerback, or safety.
No.
And guys were out of position left and right. Obviously, we were decimated in the middle at defensive tackle. At one point we had 2 corners playing for much of the second half who had joined this team, one of them 2 days before the game and another, a week before the game. And you had Case Keenum out there, and it just looked like taking candy from a baby. Now, Antoine Randall was calling the plays in the second half for them, and I think called it a lot more seriously than most people would have been calling the third and fourth quarters of the first preseason game.
That's interesting. I didn't realize that.
He's doing a bit of an audition to be and you heard Ben Johnson afterwards say, he called the plays. This guy should be an OC or a head coach. So I think there was a little more sauce on that, perhaps like you think back when Freddie get to call the plays in Detroit.
Yep. In
the preseason game with Bake, and lo and behold, ends up calling plays that season. There was a little more in terms of what they were doing, but our inexperience was absolutely highlighted and taken advantage of. Case Keenum, who's a 15-year veteran, was slicing and dicing us like a Thanksgiving turkey.
My guy threw for 20,000 yards in college football. He knows how to spin it, and he's an operator.
Yes.
Right? So now you bring an operator, a true pro, in against a bunch of guys who, in a couple of instances, were here for 48 hours, and you go, well, he's going to have a good time.
He throw it to Ray McLeod, who's an 8-year veteran who's been, with the Steelers and the Niners and the Falcons. So, it was too easy. I've said it all along, and that's not something you can fix. You cannot overhaul and fix a roster in 1 year. But the lack of experience, and that's why it's good for these guys to get the reps, but the lack of experience that we have at corner behind our top guys, the lack of experience that we have, because Avery and Ross, who have been in, you say, these guys are like 5-year vets, not as cornerbacks. They've not played much defense in the NFL. They're guys who have played special teams and really have not played a ton of defense. So, a linebacker, you had, Buki Watson didn't play football last year.
Right.
Winston Reed didn't play football last year, although I thought he looked good and was all over the place. Justin Jefferson is a rookie. Easton Mascarenas-Arnold didn't even play 100 snaps of defense last year, and he was your starting Mike. Ulofoshio has not played much defense in the NFL and played 0 defensive snaps a year ago. So, it's not surprising our defense looked very gettable in the second half, but it also says, look, we're going to be an elite defense. Our starters out there didn't give up a first down, and that was even without Denzel and Tyson Campbell. We're going to be an elite defense if we're healthy. But if we suffer injuries at some of those places, man, it is going to be tough.
Yeah,
for
we
the
do
Cleveland
not.
Browns.
We just don't have the positional depth in those spots. And
No.
we've been talking about it for really since the spring. Time for After Further Review, presented by Microsoft Surface. Z, your top 3 performers from Saturday's preseason debut against the Bears.
Number 1 is going to be Casey Concepcion. I talked about it. You're talking about the guy that was the Paul Hornig Award winner for the most versatile player in college football, first team All-SEC as a weapon and as a receiver and as a punt returner. You saw it all. Yep. 31-yard punt return that looked like he might be able to take it to the house. You saw the toughness on the jet sweep, 14-yard rush for a touchdown. You saw the 3 catches for 27 yards, one of which was a pop pass and should have had another completion from Watson in the game. But Todd Monken clearly committed to using him, to getting him the football, in space, to allowing him to be a playmaker. I like it. I like his routes. There are other routes where if you just watched him and ISO'd him in the game where he shook guys free, the ball went other places, successfully so. But Casey Concepcion was probably the number 1 most impressive guy to me on the field for the Browns from an offensive standpoint in this game.
You just can see it with him when he's probably the biggest difference between live bullets and touch.
Yep.
Of our skill guys. Yep. Like, it's just different when you actually have to bring that guy to the ground. So like everything we've been telling you on those weapons, all very, very real, that side of it. Number 2.
I thought Winston Reed really had a nice day for himself. 5 tackles, 3 passes defensed, had a special teams tackle. He was just kind of all over the field. It didn't look too big for him for a guy who had not played in a year and a guy that I know they like. I thought that was encouraging at the linebacker position because some of the other linebackers around him did not have what I would have called as good of days. So he would be somebody that stood out to me a little bit, and that was good. And then third for me will be the 2 smaller running backs on our roster. Dylan Sampson showed you what he can do on that screen where he catches it and goes 43 yards. And then on the other side, Devon Booth, 4 carries for 53 yards. This was the kid who started his career at Utah State, goes to Mississippi State, and is an explosive player, 5.2 yards a carry for his career in college, knows how to score the football, good out of the backfield, and you got to see that. And I thought that was good. That was fun. We've got some explosive athletes on this team, and it was good to see him.
Absolutely, it was. Gibby, I'm wondering, should we take a quick timeout now?
You can if you want to.
Because I just want to time up as we're here at practice number 15 that we're able to have the full team stuff, and it looks to me like the team stuff is coming.
It is, but it looks like it might. Let's see what happens here. They might. It might be more of a walkthrough.
Okay.
So but you're welcome to keep it.
Well, we've got group offense, group defense, winning football, scramble, and plaster. But it looks like we are going to get some team. But I'm guessing this is just going to be perfect operation.
Perfect operation with Shedeur going first. This is a Shedeur day first. Todd outlined that earlier. So it'll be Shedeur today and Wednesday, Deshaun Tuesday, Thursday. But Thursday will be both.
Yep.
And then Shedeur will start the game on Thursday. Or I'm sorry, over the weekend on Saturday against the Bills. So, yeah, this is looks like we're in some 7-on-7 type stuff. Yeah, a little bit. You think this will?
So this is going to be scramble drill. So this is the group offense, group defense. This is going to be scramble drill. He runs around. It's a little 7-on-7. Defense has to plaster. Offense has to come open. Denzel Boston beating Trey Avery. So this is going full speed.
Yeah.
This is actually at full speed, but it was just one play for the first team offense. Shedeur scrambled right. Boston, as he gets open, as he is wont to do, beats Trey Avery. So now it is Deshaun with the 2s, Whitehart, Floria, Bond to the right, Tylan Wallace to the left. He's got Dylan Sampson on his left hip, so he's going to take it, he's going to hold it, and then he's going to start scrambling out to his right. And he does, and now we're going to see if anybody comes open on the sideline. Floria does. Nice throw and a completion there.
And then Dylan Gabriel will go next. No Taylon Green in the game on Saturday.
No, and disappointing. And if I read the quotes today, I don't know if you guys were there for Monken, but it sounded like he said Taylon Green is not going to play again. And so I think the Browns my guess is they're not going to show him at all, and they're going to try to get him through to the practice squad, perhaps, which carries some significant risk, if you ask me. And I'd like to see him. I mean, he was the guy that I was the most excited about. Dylan Gabriel scramble drill, and unfortunately it is batted away as the ball kind of hung in the air, and Chris Edmonds knocked it away on a pass intended for Carson Ryan.
We haven't seen Talon do much more than that in 2 weeks, which is just run to the next drill.
No.
He really
Other
hasn't.
than individual period, he's not gotten the opportunity to do anything.
And look, he's the one of the guys that this group all drafted. I mean, Todd and AB, like collaboratively. The other two guys obviously were AB and Kevin, and then AB and Kevin on the Deshaun acquisition. So, he's the guy. That's a risky one. This begs the question too, as we continue here with some more 7-on-7. Shedeur back with the ones here.
Shedeur on the shotgun. Now he's got to scramble out to his left. Boston with a nice stop on the outside. Fannin, a crosser, got away from the defense. Good throw from Shedeur and a completion for the first-team offense. Tyson Campbell, by the way, still not participating in any team stuff. Now, I interviewed him last week. He said, I'm totally fine. I can play right now. They're just being cautious. And we are being
I don't blame him.
cautious with our
Honestly,
starters. Well, in a situation
especially
where there
at
is
that
no
position,
there-
at linebacker.
there is no alternate, I agree.
Yeah, I don't really need to see him or Denzel do much. I don't need to see Carson do much. Like, honestly, Quincy, like, you just need
We
those.
haven't.
Yeah, and we haven't. And we haven't seen Carson do anything. He's in non-pads again. Go ahead.
I'm glad you mentioned Quincy Williams. That's the other one. Quincy Williams is going to be a megastar in this defense. I think he's going to be a Pro Bowler. He was a first-team All-Pro. But you talk about guys that jumped off the tape in that game. Quincy Williams was absolutely everywhere and made a lot of plays. That's not one where the stats go nuts, but where you see it. Oh, get that to Blake.
Ooh.
Nice. Isaiah Bond having a nice camp, makes a nice
That's a good
diving
grab.
catch right there.
On a pass from Deshaun. Those are your hot topics today, presented by University Hospitals, official healthcare partner of your Cleveland Browns. We're going to take a quick timeout, then continue here from the Cross Country Mortgage Campus. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily. We're brought to you by Ballybet and the Ballybet Sportsbook. Please bet responsibly. to Training Camp Insider, presented by Gregory Industries, for an in-depth look at this year's Browns training camp. Enjoy practice highlights, exclusive player and coach interviews, analysis from Z, Siciliano, the Hoff, Batonio, and the great Bernie Kosar. Check out Training Camp Insider on the Browns official YouTube channel, youtube.com/Browns at clevelandbrowns.com. And now we are into team with Shedeur Sanders with the ones to start, Z.
All right, so these are the rundown plays. You got Shedeur under center, Boston to the left, Judy to the right, two tight ends. Play action fake, boots out to the left. He's got some room and makes a very nice layered throw out to his left over two defenders, getting over the outstretched hands of Quincy Williams. It looked like Whitehart and Judy were maybe a little too close to each other, but Shedeur said, don't worry about it. Dropped it in there, a beautiful ball from Shedeur Sanders. These are rundowns. That doesn't mean they're all going to be run plays. These are your first down plays. But our line's got to do a better job in the run block. It seems that Tevin Jenkins kind of is that right guard now. He's been with the first team pretty consistently. All right, Shedeur in the shotgun, running back on either hip. Concepcion to the left, Fannin slot right, Bond wide to the right here. Tyson Campbell again not participating in the team drills. They send Sampson in motion to the left. Shedeur drops back, swings it out there, and that would just be a quick little gainer right there. They had Concepcion on a clear out to the left. They're trying to get Fannin on a crosser.
Yep.
Quick pressure, though, and he has to get it out and does so to Dylan Sampson. I thought Shedeur's footwork, I thought his pocket presence compared to last year, night and day different.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. Yeah, he's put in the work. You can see that for sure from last year to this year. No question. This will be the format here then would be, do we have 12 here?
So it looks like this is going to be 12 plays. 16 plays, 5-3, 5-3.
5-3, 5-3. Okay. So, and then be interesting to see, does Deshaun get
a
both
5 or a 3?
Yeah.
Or both threes. All right, another play action, Shedeur top of the pocket. Little high, overshoots Blake Whitehart there. Clapp says, man, should have had that one. I thought Judy at kind of the next level, and then they had Boston going vertical against Trey Avery. And that one would be tempting. That's a tempting ball to throw.
It really is.
Boston one-on-one with anybody.
Yeah, he's and one of the traits of Shedeur throughout camp, he's been the most fearless of the three.
Mm-hmm.
And I think really, let's just
keeps his eyes downfield.
He does. He wants to make a play down the field where I think Deshaun and certainly Dylan much more risk adverse.
Deshaun still has a problem. This is an inside handoff there that gets bottled up pretty quickly to Judkins. Our line, we do not move the line of scrimmage at all.
Not so far.
And this isn't pads. This is shells. Easier for the defensive line. I get all that. We heard Joel Batonio and the Hoff have talked about that on this program. But if we're going to be successful, we need to run the ball. Now, Todd Monken said, I am not worried one iota about our ability to run the football. So that's good. I'm glad that he's got that kind of confidence. That gives me a little bit of confidence here. All right, Shedeur under center, two to the right, one to the left. Quinshad Judkins, it's Fannin, and it looks like a tight end to the right, Whitehart. Bond there, inside give. That's a nice hold there. Nice block from Titus Howard, comes crashing down. They get a kick-out block, and that was the first legitimate-looking hole right there. Now they're going against the second-team defensive line, but nonetheless, you'll take that. That's good. Good, encouraging play to end on. Now we got the second-team offense in. You've got Austin Barber, KT Leviston, Egwakin. Austin Barber getting some reps at right guard, which I feel like is noteworthy. KT Leviston at right tackle, Zinter left guard, DeJuan Jones left tackle, Deshaun under center, two receivers to the right, Flory in the slot right, Dylan Sampson behind him. Play action fake. Got a decent pocket until he does not. And he kind of dirted that one there. It looked like Austin Barber at the guard position got beat late, and that came right in his face. Julian Aquara trying to get around the back end. DeJuan pushed him past Watson. They're searching for a right guard. I don't think that there is much joy with the right guard situation in Cleveland right now.
I think this is why at the beginning of camp, you were curious, could DeJuan do that a little bit at some point? We asked Hoff and Batonio about that. We'll see, but DeJuan's got his own work cut out for him here.
Cole Wilson in motion across the formation. It's an inside hand and a nice block. KT Leviston. They pulled the tackle, and that worked very well. A little bit iffy on the exchange, but they got it. It was a low snap from Egwakin. Watson got it, got the ball into the belly there of Dylan Sampson, and that would have been a very nice gainer. Well blocked right there. KT Leviston again pulling from that right tackle spot.
Dylan's had a good last week. Sampson.
Yeah, he's going to be very good in this offense. Yeah. All right, Watson under center. He's got an I formation behind him. I'm guessing it's Carson Ryan in front of Sampson. Looks like Bond to the left, Wallace to the right. Play action, boots out to the right. Really nowhere to go with that ball there. Pretty well covered He was looking for Whitehart, and then had the deep comeback route from Tylan Wallace, and Lucas, number 38, did a good job there. 3 plays, and that will be it. Now we'll take a break. So it'll be curious to see. It's going to be – so Shedeur's going to get 10.
He's going to get 10.
Watson 3, and perhaps Dillon 3, or Watson will get 6 here.
You know, one thing I'm curious if Todd, amends this week is – so in this instance where you go 5-3, 5-3, last week, Dillon, they made sure he got those reps. I wonder if maybe you just shift those on to the other guy who's not going with the ones. Because both Shedeur and Deshaun need more.
Yep, I'm with you.
So
that's what at this point
I don't need to.
The only guys, at this point, until we name the one, let's just get these guys all the reps.
That's kind of where I am.
That's where I'm at.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's. I don't really know. It looks like it's going to be Dillon back there, though. He's kind of starting to throw it back there. So I wonder if he'll get the second group of 3 reps. So
which would be, for Deshaun, only 3 reps. It's almost kind of like an off day. Now the rest of the plays are broken up. We're going to get a pass down, we're going to get a blitz period, and we're going to get a red zone period that are just 10 plays in 2 sections, a 6 and a 4.
Okay, so then those will all be 6 Shedeur, 4 Deshaun.
Yeah, so that makes sense then.
Theoretically, that would make sense, yeah. Yeah, so this will be Shedeur again with the ones when they get back out here versus the ones defense as well. Be interested to see, is this the week Mike Hall comes back? Be interested to see at what point does Carson Schlesinger get back into the mix of things.
Mike Hall, I think yes.
I think it could be this week, hopefully?
I think Schlesinger maybe next week. But
Okay.
Mike Hall, I do think yes, which would be great to get him back.
Be nice to get him back for the, that joint against Buffalo.
Yes, very much so. And I really want to see Harold Fannin get going. We talked about it a little bit earlier.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
I want to see Harold Fannin get going because
he hasn't had a moment. He hasn't had a day in camp when you're like, oh, my gosh, that's right, we have Harold Fannin.
right, that he's on the way to the
They haven't
Pro
had
Bowl,
that.
which is what you felt like coming out of his rookie season. Now, hopefully he's a gamer. We'll see that. All right, here we go. Shedeur under center. He's got Whitehart on a wing to the right, Fannin on a wing to the left, Boston wide to the left, Judy wide to the right. They go out, they check the play, check, check, check. Everybody gets the hand signal. Shedeur under center. Stretch hand out to the right. Nice block from Titus Howard. Just a little zone there, and it's blown up by Grant Delpit in the backfield. I will say one of the things it's interesting, and I talked with Devon Booth earlier today, and some of these guys. In these practices, the defense is like, oh, yeah, I got you. That's not how NFL games work,
No.
by the way.
Yeah, no, it is not.
So it's so hard in the run game. At least we've seen a couple of holes open up. That's something that you can see. That is palpable, and that is good to see. For the Browns defense, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren out there with Hickman and Delpit in that big nickel. Trey Avery in for Tevin Campbell. Shedeur with a play action, looking, firing.
Oh, geez.
Well overthrown on the dig. Same concept that he threw the interception on in the game. It's a clear out from the slot, a vertical from Concepcion, and the X dig underneath it. And he airmailed that one. And Denzel Ward, not going to get many easier ones than that, unable to come up with it.
It was like the Kyle Hamilton drop on the gym game,
That's right.
A little bit like
That's
that.
right.
Like, how many times has Denzel Ward dropped that going all the way back to Nordonia? Never.
I mean, I hit him right in the hands. But that's what Shedeur's got to be careful. You cannot miss high in the National Football League. All right, Shedeur in the shotgun, Bond across formation right to left, inside give right there. I think Grant Delpit may have had that one done in the backfield as he's going all the way over to the offense and saying, yeah, man.
Letting him know.
Yeah, I'm going to go hang out with Gage Larvadan for a second. I'm pretty sure I blew that play up. And now heads back to the defense. Agwakin getting some run right here with the starters at center. Elton Jenkins not practicing today. The first time with the ones, it was Luke Whippler. And that's the other thing. Parker Brailsford, this could have been an unbelievable opportunity for him, somebody they liked a lot, but he's been hurt himself. All right, Shedeur in the shotgun. Judy tight to the formation to the right, 2 receivers to the left. Judy now in orbit motion behind Shedeur, and they give it on the inside. Hand off to Dylan Sampson. Get Tevin Jenkins and Agwakin out in front. A little guard center pull. And they get a nice little pin pull there, and that would have been a nice little gainer for Dylan Sampson.
Really unsettled up front.
Yeah.
As we head into preseason game number 2 and the big joint practice with Buffalo on Thursday. A lot of questions need answered, not just in the first 5, but then not so many in the first 5, but then depth behind it. Who makes this roster?
Right.
Who's in the mix?
Shedeur's got Whitehart tight end to the right, I formation with Carson Ryan, Dylan Sampson. He's got Concepcion, and Boston gets a free play there as he's able to use his cadence and draw Jared Verse off sides.
That's a good job out of Shedeur.
Yep. And that'll be the final play there.
That is going to be Dylan.
All right, now we've got Tyree Phillips at right tackle. We have got Austin Barber at right guard. They're clearly trying something out right there. You've got Luke Whippler, and this is your threes. Luke Whippler, Jeremiah Byers, and DeJuan is not out there. So that's I'm curious what happened with DeJuan in that game. His playtime was a little bit interesting, I thought.
In the game Saturday?
Yep. Yeah. Dylan, little play action, over the middle, too high for Cole Wilson. He was too high on his dig in the game against the Bears that led to his interception as well.
Yeah, just floated it. Yeah, this is
not crisp.
Not at all. Not at all. And I think you're there's no question that the second half performance clouds us a little bit, but
those guys aren't playing.
They're not. But there is
a lot of those guys aren't even going to be on this football team.
I know it, but it does feel like we kind of got to get going a little bit with that top group.
Yes. Inside handoff to Rocket Sanders, running behind. They get Luke Whippler, the center, pulling. That was a nice little run. So we're seeing more of those these are some of those runs that we saw in the Kevin Stefanski offense. Those pin pulls, kind of slow developing across the quarterback, but when they're well blocked, you can really get north-south once you get the width necessary, and you can have some big runs down the field.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this should be the last play of this period, and then we'll go to group offense, group defense, so that'll be separate fields, and then we'll get back into our run of where we've got team. So this will be Dylan's last play. Play action. They bring Carson Ryan across the block, looking down the middle of the field, in the air forever, and
I'll tell you what,
picked off.
That is he struggles with that throw.
I think
20
part of
yards
it's vision deep, and part of it's arm talent.
Arm talent, yeah. Like that ball has got to be a rocket into that. That's a lot of traffic in there. Kind of got away with one on the play before, and then that one got away with it too, and then it wasn't picked. But it just hangs up there far too long. It just kind of floats on him a little bit. So that's the tricky part there. Browns fans enter the Dog Dash sweepstakes presented by Milk-Bone for a chance to have your pup compete in the annual dog races during halftime of the Browns-Ravens game on October 18th. Grand prize include 2 season tickets for the 2027 season and Milk-Bone for a year. Visit clevelandbrowns.com/milkbone to enter. We will continue from the Cross Country Mortgage Campus. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily. As always, we're brought to you by Ballybet, the Ballybet Sportsbook. Please bet responsibly. brought to you by Elk & Elk. For a team of injury lawyers dedicated to every client every day. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Elk & Elk's proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. As we welcome you back out to the Cross Country Mortgage Campus, training camp day number 15 here on Cleveland Browns Daily. And we are back into some teamwork right now, my friend. I see Denzel's and Shedeur and Denzel, a little yapping back and forth before we get started here.
All right, good, because now we're going to get
pep.
into it. This is going to be some pretty good. We get some pass downs, we've got blitz, and then we'll have red zone. So 3 team periods coming up, 6 plays and 4 plays, 6 for the ones, 4 for the twos. That's really all we need to see at this point. Let's just give Shedeur and Deshaun every rep. All right, here we go. Shedeur Sanders coming out. Looks like it's second and about 10. He's got Jerry Jeudy and Harold Fannin to the left, Boston and Judkins to the right. Whiteheart in motion right to left. They get 2 tight ends out front, try to block a screen, and it is blown up by the Joker, Quincy Williams. So they had 2-on-2, but Quincy Williams read it once the motion happened. He zipped out there, and I'm telling you right now, he is going to be an absolute force for this defense. He and Carson Swessinger together they're going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Those type of tunnel screens, that one was one to Quinchon, but those type of screens like that, you have to have like the Casey Concepcion twitch to turn those up.
You need the guys in front to
block it. You got to block it.
Luke Floria getting some opportunity with the ones. Trips to the right there. It looks like Wallace Floria and Casey Concepcion. Fannin singled up on the backside. Slow developing inside handoff. Quinchon runs right into Isaiah McGuire.
That's noteworthy.
For Luke Floria?
Yeah.
I would think so.
I would think hasn't so. Happened all camp.
No, it's not happened until today. That was good to see.
Yeah, he got a little 1 rep there.
Yes, he
did.
First
time we've seen that. I think that, boy, that's interesting in terms of you think about 6th receiver. Because
question is, what can he give you?
5th.
What can he give you on special teams? Obviously, nice chemistry with Shedeur. All right, Shedeur comes out. Jeudy motion across from right to left. Shedeur in the shotgun. Dylan Sampson on his right hip. Fannin on a wing to the right. Whiteheart at tight end. Boston wide to the left. Jeudy in the slot. Straight drop back, looks right. Comes off it quickly, checks it down. 2 guys went up with Fannin. The flat was open. We were able to get down, probably pick up 5 yards right there from Dylan Sampson.
That will be an interesting thing, though, the back end of that receiver room, what that looks like. And then, obviously, that initial 53, there's always, you're playing with some numbers there to make all that work.
You certainly are. And, yeah, I think we're going to be really active at the cut-down deadline. I really do. I don't think we are normally, but I think we need to be. Shedeur in the shotgun. Denzel Boston on Denzel Ward to the right. Trips to the left. Fan motions down to a wing to the left. You got Concepcion and Bond over there. Shedeur looking back. A little twist throw. Takes a vertical shot right there.
Perfect throw.
Perfect throw. I got to tell you something. Number 1, perfect throw. Maybe a hair out in front, but a very good throw. Great recognition, and the reason that you may even be able to hear the defense going nuts right there, they had a blitz where Easton Mascarenas-Arnold, the linebacker, was part of the twist, and that was actually Isaiah McGuire in coverage 30 yards down the field. Let me tell you something. He was stride for stride. It was a perfect ball, and I think one of the reasons Dylan wasn't able to bring that in is because Isaiah McGuire is probably blocking out the sun to him. But what an impressive play in the defense. I mean, I'm talking about the whole staff was on the field celebrating him there. All right. Shedeur in the shotgun. Bond slot to the right. Jeudy wide to the right. You've got Whiteheart on a wing. Jeudy makes a little motion. Shedeur says, no, go back there. He's got Dylan Sampson on the left hip. Now the motion starts. Jeudy gets a free release over the middle. On the crosser, he's open at the second level, and that's where the ball goes. Nice touch on that one because he had to get it over Quincy Williams. And that's something that Todd Monken's talked about with Jerry Jeudy, is wanting to get him moving pre-snap because he thinks when he has that, he is elite, and that was a good ball from Shedeur, one of the better balls of the day, honestly.
Yeah, that was just a nice little pop over. He just had nice touch on it over the layer and dropped it right in there for a big gainer, and that's really good start to this. You and I were saying a little clunky to start. Even the ball, I mean, McGuire gets all the attention, but it's a good ball to Sampson.
All right, Boston, Jeudy, Concepcion wide to the right. Whiteheart singled up on the backside. Dylan Sampson on the left hip. Now slides over to the right hip for Shedeur. Snap back, gets pressure. Isaiah McGuire gets past Howard. Shedeur escapes out to the left and makes a nice throw to Casey Concepcion. You wonder if what that would have been in a game situation. Blake Whiteheart slow to get up there. You know what's interesting? I'm
not sure they got that one off either, Z.
No, but from the play
yeah.
clock standpoint either. Yeah,
It's
and
right
that
on
certainly looked like that might have been a sack. Isaiah McGuire's having a great camp. If there's anybody who you really could say has helped themselves in the final year of their contract, it's Isaiah McGuire. Watson now with the twos. He's got 3 to the left, including one of our new tight ends. Amani Marshall on the right hip. On the backside, it's Malachi Corley. That new tight end, 88, is that Daquan Wright? Thank you, young Gabriel. All right. Right, Larvidan, Cole Wilson to the left. Watson looks to the right. It's a screen set up. Got some nice blockers. I think that's a big gain because that's one where the defensive lineman, Sapp's going to say, I got you. Amani Marshall's going to run through that hand tackle. The blockers got out in front, and I think that's going to be a big one.
Defensive coaches bouncing around like they just made the greatest play ever.
They just won the Super Bowl.
Because Sapp got 2 fingers on him.
From behind.
From behind.
Yeah.
Somehow he's going to rip him down.
It's kind of like the 43-yarder. There was a defensive lineman had a chance to get Dylan Sampson.
Yeah,
He didn't.
Right. Exactly.
All right, Watson in the shotgun again. Trips to the left. Wilson, Floria, Wallace. Carson Ryan, the tight end on the right side, has to block the defensive end and does. It's inside handoff of Marty Marshall. Nice run, nice push right there. That one that kind of got him on skates. That was good to see. Now
So
we're getting
Watson with his group has yet to throw it. All been runs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is our
Well,
third
one was
play.
a screen. It was a screen.
Oh, yeah. Quick screen.
I was like,
yeah.
wait. He did throw it, but it was
Is
a,
this his
a
fourth?
long handoff.
This is his 4th play?
I think it's his third. Now they make some substitutions on the line. They bring in Phillips and Byers. Marshall, a little motion back to the left hip. You've got Larvidan and Floria to the right, along with a tight end on a wing, and then you've got singled up Malachi Corley on the backside. Watson takes it. Again, that wheel route underthrown, and that could
really
have been
dangerous,
picked.
buddy.
I think if that ball was thrown far enough, that is picked.
That's
Undercut
picked.
by number 39
Yeah.
right there. Hall looking for Floria. It was kind of that same wheel route, just flipped around. Amani Marshall there.
When Deshaun has gotten picks, this is anecdotal, so it's nothing empirical about this, but it feels to me like 80% of them are like in the box. Like it's between the hashes. It's like inside of 10 yards. It's that area.
Yeah, his feet have to be a little calmer in the pocket right there because then he gets his feet discombobulated from his arm and his shoulders, and then he doesn't get enough, and they kind of nosedive. Watson clears out to the right, looking underneath, catches it to the big tight end. Nice little gain as he escapes the pocket there, but nothing in rhythm on that one other than the screen.
No, and it's curious because that's what happened against Chicago on Saturday too. When you got into the 3rd and 4th quarter, you see this incredible dip, and it's just hard to even have a process.
It's interesting. There are some people in the league who think that you judge quarterbacks by what they do from clean pockets, and from a clean pocket, he was very good against Chicago. From pressure, he was not good. And right now, our line and our backup lines in particular, and in that one you took out some of your even better second-team linemen, it's tough. Todd Monken is giving the business to somebody.
Boy, he sure is, isn't he? Yeah.
Apparently, he said he didn't like how slowly I think they came to the huddle. Now, that affected a couple people who ran. There are others who are not affected at all by the words of the head coach, which you don't want to see that. Get up there now. All right, here we go. This is Shedeur. This is a blitz period. Shedeur under center, Boston to the right, Judy to the left, 2 tight ends, and in the lone back, single back, he's got Quinshawn Judkins under center, shown blitz. Looks like Delpit's going to come. Delpit does come, and nobody blocks him. Shedeur gets away from it. May have gotten that one off. Gets it to Blake Whitehart there.
Man, Delpit, he did such a good job of disguising that. He
did.
Started off like he was going to cover the back out and then just flashed right through a massive hole that was there and went untouched.
I think Shedeur did a good enough job, though, drifting back and throwing.
Yeah.
That's one thing that Shedeur can do. Now, you don't want him drifting in the pocket much, but that's how he got the big play to Flory. Now, on that one, when you watch it back, he could have had the quick crosser right away, but he's got the arm to do it for sure. All right, Shedeur under center again. Turn and a give up the middle and a big hole to Quinshawn Judkins. Bounces out to the right side. Makes a nice little play. Everybody stay up, stay up, stay up. Finishes that one in the end zone. That was a nice little hole up the middle there for Quinshawn.
Just got to give him a sliver.
Yeah, and you want to see that. I mean, I don't really need to see it until we're down
Neither.
in Jacksonville, to be honest with you. But, yeah, you want to see him get some opportunity to run the football and some room to run the football. When he does, I think he's dangerous and a home run hitter. He doesn't have that top end speed, but he doesn't get caught either.
No.
All right, Shedeur in the shotgun, Sampson on the left hip. Fan and slot to the left, Bond wide to the left. Concepcion moves now cross formation, making it 3-by-1. Boston singled up on the backside. It's a quick hitter out, tunnel screen to Concepcion. And who was there? Guy having a hell of a practice is Grant Delpit was
Number
there
9.
once again.
Employee number 9 has been around the ball a little bit today, buddy.
I would say so.
Yeah. Don't be a little ginger on your right leg, Grant. We're fine. We're good.
No, he's good. He's safe.
Good.
I mean, really, other than the little floater to Judy, we have not seen much kind of down the field from any of these quarterbacks in this practice. He did have a nice ball again to Dylan Sampson. Incredible coverage by Isaiah McGuire.
Yeah, right. This blitz setup's been really tough.
Well, yeah, you got to get it out, but that's where the chunks can happen if you can pick it up. All right, we got a bunch to the right. Boston singled up on the left side. Shedeur takes it. They pick it up. Got an opportunity over the top to Larvidan. Just out in front of him. That was one where maybe it needed to be a little bit more on the back shoulder. Miles Harden there. He and Denzel Ward and Ronnie Hickman celebrate. Mike Rutenberg onto the field. They're dancing. They're hugging.
Rudy.
He is entertaining.
Yeah, he is.
Good read there, one-on-one.
Wasn't a terrible throw. You'd want it more outside.
Yep.
Obviously, that's Larvidan on that play. Like, if that's Boston, you got a chance.
I think he goes up and mosses it.
Yeah.
All right, Judy, Fan, and Concepcion to the right. It's hard to set the formations because we have so much motion, which, by the way, I love that. Now you got Concepcion to the left with Tylan Wallace, Fannin and Judy to the right.
Good ball.
His ability to create separation quickly is incredible. Casey Concepcion runs just a quick little glance route off the left side, and Shedeur puts it on him. That would be a good catch and run right there. They add the all-out blitz. It's basically man-to-man. Once you get inside of that, Casey Concepcion, I think there's no limit to what he can do.
First week, Boston just burst on the scene. It was just so obvious he was the best player in camp. The last week, Casey Concepcion has jumped right up.
Oh, he looks
great.
He looks great. Bond's had a great camp. Judy, I mean, honestly, the receiving room is the room I feel the best about right now. Bond to the left, Boston and Floria to the right. Floria in motion now inside of Boston. Shedeur looking left, comes back right. He is sacked by Julian Okora. Julian Okora had a nice game. So he had a sack. He had another one where it looked like he had Case Keenum dead to rights. Case Keenum gets out of it. And then he had another run play where he hit the back in the backfield. Could have been about a 3-yard loss. It slowed him down enough that it ended up being only a 2-yard gain. But Julian Okora is, I think, pretty clearly your 4th defensive end right now.
Yeah.
He's got 10 sacks in his career. He had a year in Detroit many years ago where he had 5. He led our team in sacks in the preseason a few years ago. And it's one of those, all right, he's obviously very good against backups. Can he be good against starters? Here we go. Is Deshaun Watson in? Quick out to the left. They get nice blocking on that one to Gage Larvidan as he runs with Cole Wilson, and the tight end that we just signed today.
B. Lynch.
B. Lynch across the field talking to Lucas.
They had like a 4-3 over there.
Well, B. Lynch is an NFL player. He's an
hashtag
athlete.
He's ready. It's funny. We've got to know these guys like Tarv's sprinting over there.
Unbelievable. Started shuffling around after all those knee surgeries. All right, Watson under center. 2 tight ends. Corley to the right. Floria wide to the left. Rocket Sanders, the lone back play action fake. They pick it up underneath to Sanders, and he's got a blocker in front. That actually might have been a nice gainer.
Yeah, it might have been.
The tight end number 88. He's wearing 88. We got a new tight end wearing 85 as well.
This is the stuff that Deshaun's a little better at.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of this, like blitz pickup, screen game. He's pretty clean with it.
He has
like
a good feel for that.
Yeah, he does. He can draw him in, drop him over. He does this very well.
All right, Watson in the shotgun now. We've got Larvidan, Carson Ryan, Cole Wilson to the right. Larvidan now motions over to slot right with Malachi Corley wide to the right. I'm sorry, Ryan and Wilson to the left.
Another good one.
Nice little ball, quick read on the out, beating Donovan McMillan. So you make that motion, you get them in a situation where now your slot receiver, Larvidan's working against a safety in McMillan. That's an advantage for the offense. Watson recognizes it. That's where the ball goes. In the under 10-yard quick hit, the first read is open. Watson's looking very good. That's just not how the NFL is played.
No.
Game in and game out. Week in, week out, quarter in, quarter out, drive in, drive out. So there's got to be more on top of that, and if he can do that, then I think we've got something.
Yeah, and there was times, over the last week in practice where we saw that, and will we continue to see more of that? Because that's it. Because he's got the answers on this stuff here.
Yep, cover 0. Quick throw, finds Wallace. Misses him there. I think that might have been a sack anyways. They went with the all-out blitz, and I'm pretty sure they got home. This is our last one right here.
Should go
Got
right.
a little bit of a break, and then we're going to have red zone.
Get into some red zone work here and see what happens there. But I think that those two team periods back-to-back kind of illustrate the difference and the question that Todd Monken has to answer. Because you're choosing a style here between these two. They're very different in terms of how they go about their business. They have very different strengths and weaknesses. Like, it's a choice of which way you want to play, at least early until they get their sea legs under them.
Well, here's the thing. What Todd has to decide is, and here's the hard part, because as a head coach, he's looking at this and who gives me the best chance to win. The guy who's going to give Todd Monken, in his mind, the best chance to win early in this season is the guy that can operate effectively, the guy where the layups can be layups, and is going to run, the ball's going to go where it needs to go.
And by the way, that's 98% of coaches in the NFL.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Right now where we're at with Deshaun and Shedeur, if we're looking at it, imagine going to a driving range and you've got a guy who is hitting bombs. But not everyone's going straight, but you know he can hit the bombs.
Yep.
That's Shedeur.
Yep.
Can you dial that in so that not only can he hit the bombs, but can he hit the wedges? Can he hit the chips? And can he hit the ball straight more often than not? With Deshaun right now, I think you're seeing a guy who's got like a nice short game and he's just puttering it out there, 200 yards off the tee. He's not going to make, doubles and triples.
Right.
He's not going to make a lot of birdies either.
No. Par is a birdie in that game, yeah.
And so, I would think the hope is that with more experience, Shedeur can grow into those other things because he already has the top-end stuff. We need to see Deshaun, if we're going to win games with him as a starting quarterback consistently, we need him to be able to make some more of those splashes and those chunks. And he's done that. I'd say over the last 10 days he's done it out here. We haven't seen it. Thursday will be big for that. Thursday will be very big. Can we see him push the ball down the field Thursday effectively?
The thing that Todd has to ask himself, is it going to be easier to get Shedeur to make the layups be layups or get Deshaun to make the big plays that can win us games?
Do you want an astronaut becoming a driller, or do you want a driller becoming an astronaut?
That's it, Dad.
All right, here we go in the red zone. Ball's at the 10. Fan in motions to a wing to the right. He's got Concepcion slot right, Judy wide to the right. Boston singled up on the backside. It's a little option play where he runs right at Jared Verse. Rocket Hickman, who had a career-high 103 tackles last year, was right there to blow it up. So they had Shedeur kind of take that run right at the defensive end, and then it was a little speed option pitch out to Quinshon Judkins. Good recognition from Rocket Hickman and the defense, though, to blow that one up.
Yeah, and that's one of those ones where if it's Watson, there's a little more twitch, more of a threat in the ground game. So that's a part. That's why we keep talking about, like, the sooner that they can get this done, the better.
Yep. All right, they're at the 8. You've got Bond and Concepcion tight to the right. Bond motions out wide to the right, as does Concepcion. So it's Bond, Concepcion, Fannin standing up on the right. Boston on the backside of this 3-by-1 formation. Shedeur looking. It's a screen setup from the 8-yard line. Gets good blocks. I think that's a touchdown right there. Quincy Williams says no, but I think that's a touchdown. We're going to be a much more dangerous screen team than we've been in recent years. And those are the ones, Todd Monken called it a smoke break for his quarterbacks.
That's a great way to put it.
Are we in a bad spot for you, Dr. J?
He's got it.
We're rail
He's
standing.
got it.
We're rail standing.
He's got it.
All right, ball now spotted at the 6. Again, 3-by-1. Wallace singled up to the right. You've got, it looks like, Judy, Concepcion, Fannin to the left. Pressure from Verse. Stands tall. There he is,
Good
Harold
ball.
Fannin. That ball almost didn't get there, but a good job. Pressure from Verse. Fano did a good job getting him past Shedeur Sanders, who makes the throw right there. And it is a touchdown, Brown. Sanders to Fannin, the 2 second-year players hooking up.
It's a good throw.
That was a good throw.
Pressure all around, yeah.
You'd like to see him maybe climb the pocket right there instead of drift, because Verse got pushed vertically and get a little more on that throw, but didn't need to, and the ball placement was perfect. It was low and away where only his guy could get it. Shedeur on a keeper.
It's not going anywhere.
And Quincy Williams closes to the ball, man.
He has gotten a lot, night and day, year over year, drifting. You're right. He's not climbing, but he's also not drifting for infinity. Like, he's come a long way.
A long way.
A long way.
Shedeur Sanders has come a long way, and that's why
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of people that say if this is close at all, you play Shedeur Sanders and see if the layups can become layups. Because if the layups can, and by nature they are layups, so that feels like that should be the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
The chunk plays are there. He's improved his fundamentals so much. You can tell that he's working hard. All right, in the shotgun from the 4-yard line, Judy motions to the right, 3 to the right, 1 to the left. Out on a little flare to Dylan Sampson. Would have been well covered by Quincy Williams. In a pads and a tackle situation, I don't know if that ball's even caught, but it was. And in this situation, it's a touchdown for the Browns. Sanders to Dylan Sampson. Good read, though. Right read. Got it out there, and it was a very accurate throw. So a good little period right now for Shedeur Sanders.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Ball on the 4 now. Should have one more. Is that right?
I think that's right.
I think this will be the 6th. So.
All right, this is condensed formation. Bond and Boston, your receivers. Quick snap, play action. They're looking for the crosser. Bond to the back corner. And when they both go with the crossers, Blake Whiteheart sits there. So they ended up doubling both crossers,
cool
Boston and Bond. And Blake Whiteheart just sits down in the middle. Good patience from Shedeur. Finds him. Touchdown, Browns. Young Gabriel.
How was his flight?
It was great. I just would keep looking over him, give him thumbs up.
He's fine.
Yeah, he was fine. By the way, went to Chicago Cut Steakhouse on a Saturday night or Friday night.
Okay.
Treated us great. The place was awesome. High recommend. It's on the river. Not much better scenery in Chicago. All right, Watson now at the 10. He's got 2 receivers to his left. That's the option, so they just flipped that play. This one a little more successful. Rocket Sanders might have gotten it into the end zone there.
That city probably does summer better than anywhere.
It's a great summertime. The traffic's unbearable.
Well, outside. That's what I'm saying. Like when they go to Hammond,
the
who's going to deal with that?
Nobody. Absolutely nobody.
Nobody. You're going to go. Like,
that's why they're not
going to
go to
south.
Hammond.
They
Roger
can't.
Goodell supposedly came in and was talking with people in the state of Illinois, the lawmakers.
Yeah, I think you got to get that thing. That thing's got to be northern suburbs.
Dr. J, are we having a computer fire up here? That smelled like a toxic plastic fire. All right, Sean dropping back. Looking, he's got Wallace open on the crosser. Good recognition. That's a touchdown for the Browns. They might blow that one at the 1, but my guess is he gets in there. But we got something is not giving off good vibes.
Ever since I had whatever I have, I can't smell certain things. I got nothing.
Well, this one you don't want to smell.
I've had to do this with like food. Like I'll say to my wife, I'm like, does this smell okay?
Yeah. Right.
I can't tell.
There are food trucks down below, right around the corner. That might be.
All right, Watson at the
what's
6,
coming up.
trips to the right. He's got Larvidan, Flory looking right.
Good ball.
Perfect ball. That's the quick out. That's what he's doing very well.
Yep.
When his first read is there, and you're not going to make a living in the NFL as a first read quarterback, but when his first read is there and it's in the quick game is excellent right now with Deshaun Watson.
That's beauty. I mean, he throws that before. That was Larvidan, wasn't
Yep.
it? He throws it before he even begins his cut.
Now, I'm sure B. Lynch is saying that's a little too easy right there. We're defending the goal line. We've got to defend the paint.
Yeah.
All right, they go quickly here. This is going to be the double crosser one, I'm guessing.
Ooh.
Play action. That is blown up Julian Okwara. Watson with a dart to the back of the end zone. Touchdown, Luke Floria. That one would have been a sack, though, folks. But that was still a heck of a throw right there.
Yeah. Yeah, that was. That was good all the way around.
Good around. Yep.
So they picked up.
Shedeur had a very nice period. That's kind of been Shedeur's pattern is he gets better as the day goes on.
Yeah, that has probably been that was probably those last series of plays as crisp as the offense looked all practice.
Yes.
It certainly did get better. We're going to take a quick timeout. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily. We're brought to you by Ballybet, the Ballybet Sportsbook. Please bet responsibly on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Live on a Monday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily as we broadcast live on the 15th day of training camp out here at the Cross Country Mortgage Campus. I am merely Bo. It's the Great Z.
Hello, and good to be with you. Good to be with all of you listening as well, as it's obviously a lot quieter here at the Cross Country Mortgage Campus now that these practices are no longer open to the public, but very much a training camp practice vibe here today. And earlier while we were out here, but it'll be later in this program when we kind of give you the recap of things as they were happening during this practice. Slow start for the offense, I thought today. It's a Shedeur Sanders day with the ones. Slow start for the offense, but a nice red zone period, which is the most recent thing we saw, where Shedeur had a very nice period. Deshaun had a good period as well. But the defense has been good all day. Isaiah McGuire having a great day. Grant Delpit having a great day. But a little slow for the offense in the early going, but that red zone period was good. And then we get a little bit more of this team, some situations, a little 2-minute drill kind of to end this out. And some of what you call a hurry up, they're going to call it, nitro. Get this team moving, get up so that the defense can't substitute. Try to keep the team that you've got on the field. So we're going to run through that scenario coming up in a little bit. And I love how intentional Todd Monken is about very specific scenarios at the end of every practice, because those situations and situational football, that's ultimately what leads to wins and losses in the National Football League.
Yeah, absolutely so. And, I think as you'll hear, I think the start of practice earlier was pretty rough for the offense, but it did get going. And so we'll see how this all shakes out. So this will be 2-minute. Sounds like this is going into third down is the first set of these. Like this is third down situationally and being able to have a little pace with everything. So we'll see where all of this goes. And as Dr. Z mentioned, it'll be Shedeur first with the ones.
So my guess is this will be as though it's second down. You're going to get a play that's going to happen, and then we're going to go super hurry up to make sure that, to keep that defense or that matchup. We like what we've got there. We're going to keep them on the field. We're going to try that going into a third down. We're going to try it after a first down. Like, okay, we like what we have here. Let's try to keep this group on the field. And then also into a short yardage where maybe you've got them in nickel. You don't want to let them get the big guys out there. We're going to go into a short yardage, but we're going to go so fast that that's what they have to keep out there.
It's like a 2nd and 10 situation.
Yeah, 2nd and 10. Shedeur in the shotgun. He's got 2 receivers to his left. Now 3 as Concepcion motions into the right slot there. They're going to go little screen, half speed, very much here, half speed. All right, there's the tackle. Ball's going to be lined up. They're going to go no huddle, get right on the ball, and they are going to go. So this is a half speed drill. Again, just practicing and keeping that defense on the field, keeping that personnel group on the field, getting up. You got plenty of time now to set and assess what they're doing, check into the plays. Decides he's going to change the play one more time. 10 seconds on the play clock. When you go that fast, you got a lot of time to operate there. Kind of that Jim Kelly K-gun. And this is a
walk through at that point. Yeah. Todd's working on very specific things here.
Yeah, he's talking to Jerry Jeudy, it looked like, after that play about making sure we're all where we need to be. Because this isn't a situation where you're just trying to get up there and spike it. You're trying to get up there and run another play and keep the advantage that you've got. My guess is this is going to be like a third down situation where you get close to the first down and you want to just absolutely go, try to catch them off guard, try to keep them in that third and long personnel, that light personnel. Lots of teams go to call 3 defensive ends, a NASCAR package and a third and long to get after the quarterback. Well, if you can get 8-9 yards, now it's 4th and 1, and you can keep 3 defensive ends on the field in the nickel corner, your line has a much better chance of pushing them back.
Absolutely.
You run the side with the 2 defensive ends, and you got a good chance to pick up the first down.
Todd went over and actually said something to the defense. So him along with Rudy, that's the first time I've seen Todd kind of get in the middle of the defense. And not that it was heated, but just usually stays behind the huddle a little bit there.
He's probably telling him, all right, look, let him get 9 yards, and then this is what we're going to do. So right now, if it was the Browns on offense, you've got an interesting formation from the defense. Both defensive ends on the left side. Mason Graham was playing defensive end on the right side. So they get it to Concepcion. He gets close to the first down. We want to go. We want to go. Here we go. Here we go. Line it up. They try to sub. They get caught with a guy on the field, and we get a free play. So that's exactly what they were going for. That's, I think, what the conversation was. We're trying to get a guy on, catch him, free play.
Yep. So really practicing, drilling down on some situational play here. And I know, I'm sure that was something that was frustrating for Todd and everybody in the offense because we did get a 2-minute.
And he wanted it.
He wanted it. Just didn't go well.
It went nowhere. I mean, at that point, the offensive line was struggling mightily, to put it kindly.
Yeah. At that point, you're exactly right. But that's something he wanted. Talked about that a lot last week. He was going to manufacture a 2-minute. He actually got one, and we just weren't able to execute it the way he wanted.
All right, so the same thing, second down. Little inside handoff. Again, this is totally a walkthrough. Short of the first down. Let's go. Ball's down, getting lined up. This is a situation where you're going to call 2 plays in the huddle so that they know already what this next play is. Get up to the line of scrimmage, plenty of time, checks it out into something else. That's the other advantage. When you get up that quickly, you still have until 15 seconds to talk to the coach.
I was just going to say that, yeah.
Shedeur turned around with about 18 seconds on the clock, got last-second instructions, changed the play call again from Munkin. Oh, man, he's going up top.
He just throws that ball beautifully.
Hey, he is. His best skill right now is that he is a great deep ball thrower. That is what he does better than anything. I said that on with Mo Pedman. There's a little Jeff Blake to him.
There is. That's a good one. I like that one because I can't remember if in my mind's eye if Blake had a hose or not. Shedeur does not have a hose, but he throws a great deep ball.
Yeah, it's got a nice arc on it. Drops right in the bucket.
Yeah, I mean he's really got and he threw a ton of those at Colorado, obviously.
Yeah.
With the talent that they had with Horn and obviously Trav, where he threw a lot of those deep balls. But he throws a beautiful deep ball.
All right, so same scenarios now with the second team as everybody's going to go through the paces right here. So this is Deshaun. Floria goes in motion. It's going to be the little screen out to Floria and the Casey Concepcion roll. Boom, there's DeWant. Smashing Emmanuel McNeil Warren. Now we're up there. We got to go. Watson barking out instructions.
You see Tillman out there today?
No, he has not been practicing. It's probably been at least a week now. He's out here, but just in pants.
Okay. Not good timing on that.
No. You wonder, though, if he's a guy now that because of that and because of the injuries and all of that, that you could get him through to the practice squad pretty easily, and he's somebody that we've seen play at a high level in this league.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the frame remains undefeated. Like, you're always going to want guys with that type of frame. He looks the part. But yeah, it's going to get really interesting as we inch closer to cutdown day, how Andrew Berry decides to kind of manipulate this roster to make the numbers make sense and keep the guys he wants. Because quite honestly, to your point earlier, I would imagine we'll be quite active the other way on cutdown day. Just depth at corner, linebacker.
Yeah.
Feels like we're going to be big buyers in that market.
It's been less active now with these bigger practice squads and people not wanting to invest time.
Yeah.
In guys that have been in other systems. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, if you kind of look at it, I'll tell you, coming out of the first preseason game, let's go through the defensive side of it. I'd say right now, you know who your top 3 defensive ends are. I think Okwara looks like he might be number 4. And then is it Fano? Is it Sidnor, who had a nice game? Are they your 5 locally? Now, look, the reality is we entertained Jadeveon Clowney. He did not sign here, signed with Houston. We've entertained Zadarius Smith and certainly want him to be back here. And so we'll see if that happens. But it sounds to me like our 4th defensive end is not currently here. So does that mean Okwara kicks to 5, or would they rather have that be a young undrafted guy?
Yep.
Defensive tackle, we just haven't seen these guys, but it's Malik Collins, it's Mason Graham, it's Mike Hall, it's Aiden Huntington, and Kalia Davis.
Yep.
Now, we haven't seen Kalia Davis in forever. We haven't seen Mike Hall in forever. We haven't seen Malik Collins at all. So you want to get these guys out here, and you want to start seeing these guys get to work here, which would be, I think, is very important. Linebacker, again, I don't know that we have a full linebacker room here. You've got Quincy and Carson. Mascarenas Arnold and Winston Reed have been better. You've got Buki Watson, but that seems to me like a spot where we could sign a veteran.
Well, we've been talking about that for 6 months. We've even gone through lists of guys that are out there, including people who are familiar with this defense.
And then at corner, you've got your first 3, and then I don't know. I don't feel like you have anything for sure behind that. Like, so the number of, coming out of the first preseason game, the number of spots that are available or are occupied in my mind by people not currently here is as large as it's been in years.
Oh, since I've been here for sure. There were times, in the apex of that, Chubb, Miles, Denzel, Baker world where we had maybe 3 or 4 spots on the whole roster up for grabs.
Yes.
I mean, like hardly anything. And now, that number's over.
There could be
could
5.
Be upwards of 10.
There could be 5 on the defensive side alone that are spots that you're saying they need to be filled by somebody who's not here right now.
Right.
Which that's tough, and it's also a tough thing to actually have happen in the real world. All right, we're going to get a 2-minute drill here. This is going to be fun. This is the end of the half, minute and 24 on the clock, starting at your own 14-yard line, it looks like, for the Cleveland Browns. You got 3 timeouts to move the football down the field. And I don't know if we're going to get, both guys here, if we're going to get, the ones and the twos. It's just going to be the ones. We'll see. So Alex Wright not practicing. That's why Isaiah McGuire's been having such a good day. It's Denzel, Trey Avery on the outside, Miles Harden on the inside. Your defensive line is McGuire, Graham, Huntington, and Verse. Linebackers, Mascarenas Arnold, and Quincy Williams. Safeties, Delpit and Rocket Hickman. Shedeur Sanders in the shotgun. He's got slot right, Harold Fannin. Wide to the right, Jerry Jeudy. Concepcion motions over to be in between them on the right. Boston singled up on the backside. It's that screen play, quickly over there and quickly blown up.
You gotta block that at the point. I know no one's in pads right now, but those plays, I don't love them because it feels like a lot of work.
But when they work, it's easy. 8, 10,
it is
80
but
yards.
You really have to have that execution. Otherwise, they can be losses of 6, too.
Yep.
So, you really got to have the timing and execution right on that.
All right, Shedeur in the shotgun. KT Leviston at right tackle with the ones. Egwak in the center. Concepcion and Boston to the left. Fannin and Jeudy to the right. Fannin now motions back in to a kind of a separated, a detached wing to the right. Sanders takes a snap. He's looking, checks it down out to Dylan Sampson, who was tackled quickly for minimal gain. It's going to be 3rd and long here in this 2-minute drive as they're looking to pick up a first down. It's going to be 3rd and about 8.
Yeah, I'd say. Yeah. Looks like ball's on the – is it on the 19? 18 or 19.
And they got to get to the maybe 3rd and 6. 3rd and 6.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, 3rd and about 6 here to keep the drive alive. Now they're taking a lot of time in the
This is
huddle.
not going to go well, bud. You got 9 seconds on the play clock right now. We haven't even broke the huddle.
So my guess is you're thinking, all right, we have 3 timeouts. We're going to run this down so that we force them to use a timeout or we burn the clock because we don't want to leave them too much time on the clock given that it's 3rd and long, but we still have the timeouts in case we want to go.
That's exactly what it was. Very astute, my friend.
Not my first rodeo.
No.
So big play here, and that's saying, okay, we didn't like what we got really on the first 2 plays. We're not giving up on the drive. Still have 2 timeouts, plenty of time to get into field goal range. But at the same time, we want to make sure either they're using one of their timeouts or not, which they did not do. All right, big 3rd and 6 here. Jeudy wide to the right, Fannin slot to the right, Sampson on the right hip of Sanders in the shotgun. He's got Concepcion and Boston to his left. No motion pre-snap, dropping back, pressure off the backside from Verse over the middle, and it is behind Harold Fannin, and it falls incomplete. Now, I'd like to see Fannin catch that ball, but that ball was well behind him and was, unfortunately, a little bit of an errant throw. Did have pressure off the backside from Jared Verse, but that's a 3 and out for the Browns starting offense on that one.
That was actually the best case scenario considering everything else because that ball kind of went off of Fannin's hands backwards and Grant Delpit was right there.
There were 3 guys right there.
And he could have easily just taken it right out of the air, which, by the way, if you ever play the new college football game, they'll just do that.
They'll just take it out of the air
That's
all the
right.
time.
That's right. Yeah.
Still, every pass
right.
is either a completion or an interception.
It's not quite as bad as Madden, but it's definitely devolved. It's not as good as it's been.
All right, here's Deshaun Watson with the 2s. He's got Isaiah Bond to the left. Larvidan motions across the formation. Open on that crosser. They like that play.
They do.
So that's a good 8 yards there on first down, and he gets out of bounds. No, they're calling that a first down.
That's
10
similar
yards.
to the one they ran with Jeudy.
Jeudy. Mm-hmm.
Yep, in motion.
It's that motion. So you take the guy who's out wide to the right. He comes in motion and is at a full-speed run and then slides underneath the slot receiver who comes up, pushes up, creates that little natural cushion for the crosser. So first down, they complete that and pick up a first down. Going empty. Oh, no, they got a single back on the left hip of Watson. 3 to the right, 1 to the left. Carson Ryan looks like Larvidan and Bond to the right, Malachi Corley to the left, Watson dropping back, looking down the field. That is a great ball over the outstretched arms there of number 29 into Carson Ryan. That was a tight window throw, got just enough on it. A little clear out on the outside with a sail route underneath and put it over the dropping corner, the dropping nickel corner there. Good throw from Watson, and they get out of bounds, and now they've got first down at about the 40.
Probably best throw of the day.
Probably was. They pick up 26 yards quickly there on 2 plays and have not used their timeouts, have not had the clock running. Watson in the shotgun once again. Cole Wilson wide to the right. Rocket Sanders on his left hip. Tight end looks like Whiteheart. On the right side, you've got Larvidan and Corley to the left. Larvidan slot left. Watson looking, defense showing an overload blitz on Watson's right. They're showing the pressure, and they come. Pick it up. They get it out to Sanders. It's a blitz beater right there. He's got a lot of room to run up the sideline. Picks up 15, and we had a flag back
down. There. A false start on us.
False start on the offense. Todd Monken saying,
"Oh, he's not having it." Todd's not having that.
No, now he's backing him up, but I don't think he agreed with it.
He did come over, but he did not like the call.
I didn't see who moved.
I didn't either.
It had to be the tight end or the right tackle, right? It had to be on the right side. Tyree Phillips is acting like a guilty party. He said, me?
That is a killer.
That's a killer.
That's
so
a pick up a 30 that comes back first and 20.
Yep. From the 35, they got to get to about the 50. So first and 15. But yeah, that is a big change. It's a net negative 35 yards. Condensed formation to the right, to the left. Watson in the shotgun. Sanders on his right hip. Defense not showing blitz here, showing a too high shell look. They drop playing coverage. Watson quickly gets it out. Had pressure from Elijah Chapman and dirts that one.
This is the thing that's going to drive Todd nuts.
Yep.
You got a nice drive going. You pick up 20 on a play because we're not organized, and the clock was running down, so everybody can see that clock was running down on that play. Whether it was false or not, who knows? Now it's all erased. Now you're in third and.
Now you got second and 15. Now you got to overcome it here. You got to try to pick up 9 or so here. Defense showing the too high again, not blitzing. Looks like they're going to play coverage on the back end. And they are. They keep the too high looks. Get it out to Flory on the outside. Get up, and get out of bounds.
Okay.
All right.
It's manageable.
So pick up about 8 there, 7 maybe.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be third. They got 9, 3rd and 6. So that's exactly what you wanted right there. The defense more than willing to concede that on the outside, so good recognition. Now you're going to have to make a throw here. This is going to have to be one where you drive it on 3rd down. You got Tylan Wallace to the right. You've got 3 to the left, including Isaiah Bond, Carson Ryan, and Floria. Floria and Carson Ryan right next to each other in the slot to the left. Bond wide to the left. I think you can get on top of that corner right there if the safety drops in. Nope. Play deep half. Watson looking that way underneath to Sanders. Gets it out in front to him. I think that might be a first down.
I think that should be a first down. There's no way you're going to – on a touch.
All right, they're saying he touched them. Timeout. And they'll go for it. There's no way he was making that tackle.
Tarv would hate how much
we're so pro offense. But at the same time, you're not. That's a 230-pounder with a full head of steam. You're not just
touching him from behind and you're down.
You're not just tapping his hip and having him fall down.
No. So you're looking at a 4th and 2.
4th and 2
on what should have been a first down. Honestly, it seemed like a first down play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So good stretch of plays here for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I mean, and really, but that's the difference between winning and losing. That false start penalty right now is the difference between being ready to put points on the board and not. Browns going trips to the right in a bunch. They've got Bond, Larvidan, and Whiteheart. Bond now across some formation and that jet sweep motion to the left side with Tylan Wallace and a stack to the left, which means they're going to run a 2-man route concept, try to get a quick little out, my guess is, underneath it. Wallace gets upfield, Bond runs an out, or vice versa. Delay of game right there, and that is not going to make –
Did he get it? I think Todd called a timeout on that.
I think they were trying to get him to jump.
Yeah.
I think that's what that motion was about, trying to get him to jump right there.
Can we get the Todd got a timeout, and then that'll do it.
That'll do it. All up.
Yeah. So there you go. Practice number 15 in the books, buddy. We're starting to stack these things.
We are. It has been long. It's been distinguished.
We'll have a breakdown of everything we saw today, some thoughts on the preseason game as well. I should tell you that those are the hot topics today, presented by University Hospitals, official healthcare partner of your Cleveland Browns. And in addition to that, coming in 2029, the new Huntington Bank Field usher in the next era of Browns football. Lock in your spot with seat deposits starting at just $25 for reserved and club seating. You'll receive the best opportunity to secure your seats and access to visit the new Stadium Experience Center. We just opened this thing today. It is spectacular.
Got a ribbon cutting.
We really did.
Golden scissors.
Great job out of MCing.
Thank you.
Great job out of somebody doing that. Yeah. Place your seat deposit today at newhuntingtonbankfield.com. We're off and running. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily. We're brought to you by Bally Bet and the Bally Bet Sportsbook. Please bet responsibly. More fun to your fan of the Bally Bet Sportsbook app. Download today. Get 50 back in bonus bets. You place your first wager of 10 or more. Bally Bet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. So practice number 15 in the books. Still some guys milling around out here, running some sprints. Some of the backups, Talon down there, Dylan down there, running some sideline stuff. Some big, some running. Looks like some big running backs over to the right are doing it as well. So just kind of wrapping up some conditioning here, Z.
Yeah, and the corners, Denzel Ward smoking everybody with the corners and the safeties and some of the linebackers. I mean, not even close, and that's why he's a gazelle. You know, you talk to some of the players, and this has been a camp with a ton of plays and a ton of reps, and there are a lot of guys that were gassed in that second half. And that's, listen, you're fighting for your NFL life. This is your livelihood. There's no you can always control your conditioning, what you put in your body, and your effort. And so don't give them the excuse, man, I'm tired. You've got to be out there and be ready to go.
Practice number 15 coming off the loss in Chicago. There were moments, and of course you and I always do this from the offensive perspective because it's the natural way to go. Just wasn't as crisp as I think we were hoping it would be on a Monday.
No, it wasn't. There was a nice red zone period. That was probably the highlight. Deshaun had a nice 2-minute drive going, derailed by a penalty, which I'm sure is going to drive Todd Monken crazy. This wasn't as crisp. It very much looked like a Monday in the dog days of training camp practice, if I'm being honest. Tomorrow, with the pads on, I'm hoping there's going to be a lot more intensity. Wednesday, then it'll be a lighter day, and then Thursday's a statement day. It's what does this team look like against a team that everybody thinks has an MVP candidate at quarterback, against a team that a lot of people think has a great chance to represent the AFC at the end of this season. How does that look? And for guys that are trying to either, one, solidify a starting role in some of those competitions that we've said are ongoing, that is going to be a massive day for you, particularly the quarterbacks. And for guys that are fighting to make this roster, it's a big day because you got to show that you belong here. And right now we have so many spots that are just kind of question marks. What does the guard depth look like? Question mark. Who was the second and third tight ends? I mean, it looks like Blake Whiteheart has that, but we're still bringing in tight ends, so it makes me feel like we're not all that thrilled with what's going on at the tight end position. And then our first tight end that was drafted this year, Joe Royer, we haven't seen it all, and really no update as well as he deals with a personal matter. And then we went through the defense earlier, but if you're just joining us, we know they want to bring in a veteran defensive end. Our linebacker room feels like it needs a veteran addition. Our corner room is in desperate need of competent guys on the outside, but those guys aren't just around. It's hard enough to get people to play that position in the NFL.
No, and so I mean, if without going through it position group by position group, I mean, is there 10 spots that were kind of or more? Even?
I don't think right now we know. I'll do it. I can do it. We can do it quickly, unless we don't have the time. Do we not have the time?
Let me check for you. Yeah, you got time.
All right. Quarterback, there'll be 3. The question is, who are the 3?
Yeah.
And who do they try to get to the practice squad, or is there a move made? Running back, we don't know yet who the 3rd running back is. Wide receiver, I'd say we don't know who the 6th wide receiver is, or if there will be a 6th wide receiver.
Yep.
I think we don't really know tight ends 2 and 3.
I would agree.
We certainly don't know who the backup guards are.
Nope.
So that could be 1 or 2. I'm not even sure we know who the starting guard is at right guard. It looks like it might be Tevin Jenkins, but I mean the fact that now all of a sudden Barber's getting work there, they're clearly not happy with what's going on the interior. That also would lead me to believe that DeJuan Jones is definitely the swing tackle if they're giving Austin Barber reps on the interior.
Seems that way.
Defensively, as I mentioned, you got the defensive end that they want to bring in clearly.
Yep.
I think we have all 5 defensive tackles in-house.
I would agree.
I don't think we know who linebackers
3.
Well, I think we know
3, I think.
Mascarenas Arnold, I think Winston Reed will be here. I don't know about, linebackers 5 and 6. I don't think we know who cornerbacks 4, 5, and 6 are, or 4 and 5. And I think we know who will end up being safety 5, or who that it's in-house, but you don't know if they're if they want to add somebody there. Daniel Thomas will be in that room, but he's more of a special teams guy than a safety.
That's 13.
Right, and that's a lot. And I would say of those 13 spots, you can make a legitimate case that a half dozen or so are probably not here right now.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you can't get anybody you want, they're all going to be here right now. That's the way that the league works. But it feels like there are going to be people that you want to be adding at positions, and it's the lack of depth that showed up in that and experience in that second half was tough. Again, it was, you said, Antoine Randall was calling plays like he was auditioning, and so putting some tough stuff out there. But that's a real thing right now for this Browns team. Everything's focused on the quarterback, so much so that it's like a spotlight, and you can't see anything else outside of what that spotlight's shining on. But there are other things going on here with this Cleveland Browns team, good and troubling. Good is, man, these receivers look good. Man, Quinshawn and Dylan Sampson look good. the defensive ends that we've got here. Our top 3 are looking very good, and so on.
This month's winner of the local business platform presented by Minuteman is Locally Spruce. Locally Spruce is where to find quality local brands, artists, and authors, products for you, and gifts. Get event dates and more store information at locallyspruced.com. Coming up over the next hour and a half plus of the program, our thoughts as practice number 15 was happening in real time. And coming up next, Coach Munkin from the podium. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily. We're brought to you by Ballybet and the Ballybet Sportsbook app. Please bet responsibly.